Hello and welcome. This is Christy Ramon at Spearman ISD. I am the teacher mentor coordinator as well as a substitute teacher program support person. And so if you have any questions or any concerns after watching this training, be sure and reach out to me at 806-330-1036, and I will be happy to go over any questions that you might have. You can also catch me by email at Christy, Kristi, .Ramon, RAMON, at SpearmanISD.net. All right, let's get started. And like I said, if you have any questions, please just jot those down and holler at me at any point. So when we typically have this training, when we meet face to face, we go over and discuss our norms. Most of all, I just want you to be sure that you're comfortable as you're watching this training and that you also know that you can ask me anything that I may not have been very clear with. So just a little bit about me. I've been in the district now for 37 years. I've been a classroom teacher, a principal, and now I'm the teacher mentor coordinator, federal program person. I do a lot of other things at the district level, including substitute teacher support. So this is our superintendent, James Lehman. He's been in Spearman now 4, maybe 5. I think this is his 5th year. He was high school principal for 3. This is his 2nd year as superintendent. This is our high school principal, Mrs. Jackson. She has been the high school principal now for 2 years, comes with a lot of classroom experience and administrative experience from Perryton. This is Miss Karina Baca, the junior high principal. Miss Baca was born and raised here in Spearman. She is a previous classroom teacher, 3rd, 5th grade, both of those grades, and now the junior high principal. Our elementary principals, the person you see on the right is Lizette Almo. She is the elementary principal, born and raised in Spearman, was a classroom teacher, elementary counselor, now a principal, and her co-principal, Miss Kayla Schrader, is also born and raised in Spearman. She taught 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and 2nd grade for over 30 years and has been in administration now for her 2nd year. So you will find that all of our principals are extremely supportive of our substitute teachers. We need you. Substitute teachers are very important to us. And so our principals will do everything they can to support you in any way needed. So at Spearman, we have cultural tenets. Our cultural tenets are put students first, build relationships, serve with courageous humility, get better every day, commit to excellence. And this is what we consider our foundation here at Spearman. And we ask that you buy into that culture as well. We have a motto this year that says, "We are the standard." I'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. But what makes us the standard that we feel like we uphold is our cultural tenets. So we have a we have a t-shirt that you can earn if you sub 3 days. We have a form in your substitute teacher packet that you will need to pick up from Nora or myself. I will explain that here at the end of the training. And our t-shirt this year has a big Lynx head on the front, and it says "We Are the Standard" on the back. And we allow you to wear those on Wednesdays. And with your t-shirt, you can also wear a pair of blue jeans. That's one of our free blue jean days if you have your t-shirt earned. Once you get 3 days filled, you're going to fill out a form that's in your substitute teacher packet that you will receive, and that will get you that free t-shirt. So in your packet, you're going to receive from Nora or myself is a list. I have here on the screen all the different items that you will get in that packet. So you will get that t-shirt form. You're going to get a substitute teacher handbook, which I will go over everything in that handbook with you today in this training. There's the slideshow presentation, so you'll get a copy of this training. There's also a training video schedule. So you will have trainings that you have to watch that you're required to watch. and you'll get that schedule as well as a district calendar. We are on a 4-day school week this year, so we're excited about that. That calendar will be important to you. We'll also give you a standard response protocol. I'll talk a little more about that shortly. Your pay schedule, a Raptor help sheet. The Raptor is our emergency notification program. You'll be getting more training on that. A time clock agreement and a handbook receipt. Those two forms, the time clock agreement and the handbook receipt, must be received back to us, signed and dated after you get those from us. So your computer login, anytime you're on at the school and you need to get into a school device, you can use username sub, S-U-B, and password links1234. And all of that is actually lowercase. It looks on the screen that you use capital letters, but you need to make sure you use lowercase letters for that password to work. If you have not already downloaded the Spearman ISD app, I would encourage you to do that. The Spearman ISD app is where we send our notifications out. So anytime we're notifying you for maybe a school delay or there's some type of information that needs to go out to everybody, that will get you that notification on the app. You can also mark where you want your notifications to come from. I strongly recommend that you mark all 3 campuses. That way you're getting notification from all 3 campuses. Spearman pays on the 25th of each month or the last day of the school week if the 25th falls on a weekend or holiday. So December is one of those months where you'll get paid much earlier than the 25th because we typically get out of school a few days before the 25th. So time clock procedures in your application, you've already seen those, but I'd like to go over those with you just so you're clear and you have a good understanding of what our expectations are. So we want you to clock in and out for your position every time you are working from Spearman ISD. We need you to clock in and out because it is a very important part of your job and you're required to be able to do that. We also ask that you clock in and out for any personal, that you do not clock in and out on a personal device, but only on school devices. So our school devices that we have are located in all of our offices. So at the high school, you can go to the high school office or you can go to the business administration and they will show you where to go. At the junior high and the elementary, in the front foyer of the building, there is a time clock computer in there. But the first time you go in, you'll check with the secretary and they'll show you what you need to do. And if you do happen to leave campus for any reason, we ask that you clock in and you clock out. So if you decide to leave at lunch, you need to clock in and clock out. In the event you forget to clock in or out, you can submit a time clock correction form to notify the business office immediately. The time clock correction form is on the Spearman ISD website. You go into the staff portal, so you'll see there's 4 purple boxes on our home screen, and one is staff. You'll click on that. You'll scroll down until you see time clock correction, and then it's very simple. You just fill that out, answer those questions, submit, and our office ladies will take care of your mistake. So we ask that you don't ride the clock because that is forbidden and grounds for dismissal. Riding the clock means that you are finished with the job, but you're still on the clock. Maybe you just need an extra 30 minutes that day, thinking you might need a little extra pay. That would be considered fraudulent because you're no longer working. You also do not want to clock in or out for anyone else but yourself. Sharing your time clock information is forbidden, as well as could get you excused from the position. We want you to be very confidential with your time clock number. We want you to be responsible at all times, and if you have any problems, contact the supervisor or Spearman ISD payroll, which would be Laura Camacho at the business office. She can help you correct anything that maybe is in error on your time clock. Information is subject to change as the district updates any information. We will notify you and let you know. More than likely, between now and the end of the school year, nothing will change, but if it does, we will be glad to let you know. So here's our salary. If you're a non-certified sub, meaning you're not a certified teacher, you would get $12 an hour. If you happen to do ISS and you're a non-certified teacher, you get $12.50. ISS is in-school suspension, and that we pay a little extra for that because that day can be quite long. You stay with the student or students all day with a short break. They'll provide you a couple short breaks, but you also will eat with the students. So we pay you a little extra because it can feel like a long day. Many of our substitutes love that. They'll bring extra things in that they can work on while the students are working, which is fine and acceptable. But some people prefer to be a little busier throughout the day. If you're a certified teacher with a teaching certification, we pay $14.50. And if you do ISS as a certified school teacher, you get $15 an hour. So when you filled out your packet, you filled out a letter of reasonable assurance, and that is because you are an at-will employee. An at-will employee means that you can leave Spearman ISD at any time. We do ask that you resign and let us know that you're leaving. And we also ask that you do that in writing. But as a result of being an at-will employee, there are some exclusions that could cause you to be removed from the sub roster. Those might be something like poor performance or misconduct. Let's say you just repeatedly turn down assignments and you're repeatedly unavailable to us, or you just cancel on us quite often. We may need to take you off the list as this job might not be the right fit for you. You do not accept at least 5 assignments per year. That could be something that would cause you to be removed from the sub roster. Now, if you start subbing for us at mid-year after Christmas, we would reduce that to 2.5 a year would be the minimum required number of days you must work for us. If you're interested in taking out school insurance, you need to talk to Laura Camacho in the business office. She can explain that to you. And if you do take out school insurance, you do have more of an expectation of how many days you must work to be able to qualify for that insurance. So you must have 5 full days of assignments per month with a minimum of 40 hours. If you forget and you don't return your letter back to us the prior year, we'll give you a phone call, send you an email to double check with you, but we also will remove you from the sub list if we don't get that back. Failure to sign it and return it will also be a voluntary resignation. So if you're interested in school insurance, be sure and talk to Laura Camacho. She's the one that can get you set up for that. And I'm not very good at those kind of questions, but Laura is our expert. So we do have some difference. Our school hours are just a little different this year because of our 4-day school calendar. Our days are a little longer, but our teachers and our students have adjusted quite well to that. And they find that extra day off, it's worth working a little extra on the days that we're here. So our day begins at 7:15 and ends at 4:30. That's our teacher day. We ask that you arrive 15 minutes early if possible. So if you're there at 7:15, you're going to be in good shape. And then if you stay till 4:15, 4:30, depending on when the students leave, that's very acceptable as well. High school day is 7:45 to 4:17. Junior high, 7:45 to 4:16, and elementary, 7:45 to 4:15. So really, you could get to school by 7:30. That will still give you enough time, but at the elementary, if you're working elementary, you will want to come in at least 7:15 just because kiddos will be coming to you by 7:30. If you're working at the elementary, you might have some before and after school duties. So we don't smoke on the school premise, nor do we have any type of e-cigarette. Those are all prohibited. Parking lots are also included. We do have a pretty specific dress code, and we ask that you follow that. We do expect you to dress in a manner that's clean, modest, professional at all times. We want your clothing to be appropriate for the classroom setting, free of rips, tears, or excessive wear. So, meaning no holey jeans, no rips, types of rips in your jeans or your slacks or your shirts. Also, avoid any type of tight, revealing clothing. If your top is really tight or your breeches are really tight, reconsider wearing those. We do ask that your hair is clean and neat. We ask that you not put any wild and funky hair colors in that might be extreme or distractive. And then gentleman facial hair is allowed, but you must keep it trimmed and neat. Tattoos and piercings must not be visible. The only exception to that is our ladies. You can have pierced ears, and in the event that you have a nose or tongue ring, you must wear a clear spacer. So keep that in mind. If you have tattoos, you'll have to wear long sleeves or some type of a sleeve that you can cover those up with, and make sure that those are not visible to the eye. So what's acceptable? Some dress slacks, khakis, tailored pants, colored denim jeans can be substituted for slacks. Skirts or dresses that fall no shorter than 2 inches above the knee, so that knee length is important. Collared shirts, blouses, professional tops, sweaters, cardigans, blazers, and appropriate footwear for the working conditions. For the men, collared shirts, polo or dress shirts, ties and jackets are encouraged for formal events. Our gentlemen here on campuses, they don't typically wear a tie and a jacket on a regular school day, so don't feel like you have to. Females, tops with modest necklines are appropriate coverage. Be sure that if you have a shirt that's a little lower cut, bend forward and see how much is gapping, because as a teacher, sometimes you have to bend over or lean over by students and you don't want anything to show. Sleeves preferred. If you have a sleeve that has smaller than 4 inches in width on the shoulder, you do have to have a jacket or cardigan on to cover that up. Also, what's unacceptable are those torn jeans. Jeans on any day except our casual days. Excuse me, we call our casual days Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays, if you earn that school shirt, you can wear your jeans. And on Fridays, you can wear your jeans and your pep shirt that day. We ask that you don't wear tank tops, crop tops, or t-shirts on other days except casual days. Now, the campus administrators do have some discretion on that, because t-shirts can be dressed up with a nice jacket or a cardigan or something like that. So they're not real strict on that piece. Shorts, we wait for those activity days that are designated to wear shorts to school. Athletic wear like tennis skirts, sweatpants, cotton joggers, including tights, unless worn under a dress or tunic, those are to be avoided. And then remember that no set of dress code guidelines can consider every possibility. So judgment concerning compliance will be made by the school administration. We do ask that you familiarize yourself with the emergency and safety protocols. We have those on the Spearman ISD website. And in the classroom, you should have an emergency safety plan and procedure handout, as well as an evacuation diagram that will be posted in all work areas. And we ask that you see emergency packets for fire drill, lockdown, evacuation, and tornado. Those should be in every classroom. Be familiar with the standard response protocol. That is a handout that is in your packet that you will receive from Nora or myself. That handout tells you what the students should do in the event of a lockdown or a lockout or something like that. It will also tell you as a teacher what you need to do. Those are also posted on every classroom wall. And so you would have that available to you, but you'll want to familiarize yourself with that before coming to work. We do ask that the doors stay locked At the elementary and junior high, we have magnetic strips. Those strips can be on the door, on the inside of the door, and it keeps the door from locking when people come and go. But in an emergency, all you have to do is take that magnetic strip off, shut your door, and it should lock. Sometimes those doors don't get locked, so when you come to work that day, you might double check that. And if it's not locked, you'll need to ask somebody to get it locked for you, an administrator or a custodian. Please don't prop any outside door open ever. That's one thing that we ask that you not do. We want to keep our students very safe at all times. Our principals will do door sweeps once a week. We never know what day of the week that is. And if a door is accidentally propped open, that has to be recorded. And we don't want to have to record that and send into the state. So be sure you don't prop any outside doors open. The only visitors that are in our building should be visitors that have a reason, educational reason to be in the building, and they should have a visitor badge on. Enter and exit through main doors only, and don't open the door for anyone from outside the building, with the exception of the unlocked door. So every campus has one unlocked door that people can come and go through. They have to funnel through the office to get checked in. So if you're at a campus where somebody comes up to a door that's not one of those unlocked doors by the campus office, please don't open that door for them. In the event of a lockdown, be sure you do not unlock the door for anyone. If your principal comes to the door and says, "Hey, let me in, everything is good," please don't unlock it for her, because they have a key and should be able to get into your classroom. You want your students to remain quiet. You want to remain quiet throughout that drill or throughout the event. Move to the corner of the room that is on the same wall as the door. That makes it much more difficult for somebody to look in and see if anybody is in the room. And if the fire alarm goes off during a lockdown, do not leave the room unless the fire is in your room. That is a way that somebody could try to get you out and could cause harm to a student. Just some more safety. We want you to observe all safety rules, keep work areas clean and orderly at all times. If you have any type of an accident, report that to the administrator and the school nurse, and only operate equipment or machines for which you've been trained and authorized to use. We ask that you don't have any type of a firearm or weapon on campus. Those are all prohibited. That includes any type of school-sponsored activity, any location around the school building. We do have we do have a required safety video training called Active Assailant Preparedness, which will help teach you what to do in the event of any of these emergency drills. At the elementary, we have a lily-free campus because we do have allergies to the flower lily. And so we ask that you don't send any arrangements to the school or accept any flower arrangements at the school that has lilies in it. Visitors must sign in at the office. Visitors are restricted and must have an educational purpose. If you see somebody that does not have a reason for being in the building or is not wearing a badge, ask them to go back to the office. Cell phone policy, all students must turn in their cell phones at the elementary and junior high. They turn them into the office. At the high school, they turn them into the cubby in the front foyer. Our students are in the habit of this already. So if you're coming on board now, you shouldn't have any students that don't know that policy. But if you do see somebody with a phone, just have them take it to the office. Personal use of communication, we ask that you save any kind of personal use on your own time. If you're at the school and you're on a school device, you do not want to update any of your social media or get on the network or get on a social media account that's a personal account on the school network. Use your personal time for any type of electronic communication devices. Now, if you need to send a text message or you need to make a phone call, you can always do that when you're on your break. but we strongly suggest that you save social media time for after work hours. All employees will not share or post any information that's been obtained during school time. If you have a child that you know, it's maybe a friend of your child's, and you happen to snap a picture of it at school, you must not put that on a personal social media account because you may or may not know whether or not that child can be posted on social media. So make sure that's something you avoid. If you change your address or your phone number at any time, please contact the business office. That's very important to us that we always have an updated phone number and address and email for you. We do have 2 school nurses. One is Nurse Kelly. She's at the elementary. Her extension is 1906. Sally is at the high school and her extension is 1907. If you do send students to the nurse, please call them ahead of time so that they know that you have someone coming. That at the elementary, because we're sharing a nurse at the elementary and the junior high, the nurse may or may not be in the office at that time. At the junior high, call the office first, then send the student with a pass to the office, and then the student will return the pass back to the office when they come back. So just here's some general guidelines, some reminders. Be on time. We ask that you leave once all your students are dismissed, but don't leave until then. Check in and out of the office. They're going to give you your instructions. It's very important that they see you when you get there and they see you when you leave. Carry out all plans and duties. Follow the lesson plans to the best of your ability. Whatever the teachers leave for you, they're asking and wanting you to get finished while you are there to the best of your ability. If you're not able to get it all finished, it's not a problem. Just leave them a note and let them know. You're going to take attendance at the beginning of each class period at junior high and high school. And at the elementary, you'll take attendance at 8:30 only. It's only once at the elementary and every class period at junior high and high school. At the high school, the official attendance time is second period, but that is also when we do our announcements, and we ask that you wait to send a student to the office after announcements. Students can take your attendance sheet to the office for you. That's perfectly fine. And then avoid using the computer or cell phone for personal reasons unless you're on break or it's an emergency. Be professional. You are now an employee of the school district. You are expected to keep confidential information about the school, which may be gained while substituting. If you have any concerns, please address those with the school principal. Never leave students unattended. If you have an emergency, ask the teacher next door to help watch your class for you. And then never give medication to students. All medication must be given by the school nurse, or possibly the office staff may have some privileges, very few, but you don't, any other employees do not have medication privileges. So let's see, general guidelines here. All students must be dismissed from the office. Be sensitive to children's beliefs, including Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, any type of religious activity. Please do not transport a student in a personal vehicle and always have another person present when alone with a student or keep the door open. Obtain from the administrator permission to send notes or other communication home to parents. And always familiarize yourself with the student handbook, student code of conduct, and the Spearman Employee Handbook. You are responsible for observing those, and they can be found on the Spearman ISD website. Student code and conduct and discipline. We expect them to follow the rules. We also ask that you don't embarrass or humiliate a child in front of their peers. Reprimand should always be in private. When an individual causes problems that you feel like you cannot handle, your principals will be happy to help you with that. Call the office to let them know that you're sending a student and tell them why they're coming. Also respect confidentiality of all students and school personnel. So Classroom management can sometimes be one of the more difficult parts of this job. And so here's a few things that will be helpful for you to know. Be consistent. If you expect it, be consistent. Avoid punishing the whole group for the misbehavior of one. Expect students to behave well and praise them for positive behavior. Sometimes we only notice the kids who are doing things negatively. And if we start praising those who are doing the right thing, those kiddos who are sometimes looking for attention the wrong way will change their behavior if they notice that you notice them when they're doing something correct. Circulate the classroom to monitor activity and possible trouble spots. You have a lot more control as a teacher if you're in their space rather than away from them. Use your voice, eyes, and nonverbal to communicate. It's just like if you are a parent, and sometimes you can talk with your mouth closed and your eyes open wide. It works the same way in a classroom. Go to the students when they need help rather than ask them to come to you. If you're talking and you need some attention, the students aren't paying attention, sometimes just getting very quiet can make you stop and pause, just like what I did as an example. Avoid sarcasm and shouting. Be in control. Always be the one that's in control. If they see that they can get you out of control, you become the focal point and they don't. If you will look up some attention signals when you're needing students' attention, there's a ton of those out there on the internet, and they're really useful, and they will help you to get kids to pay attention much quicker when you're needing their attention. Stay in control. Take some quick pause, turns, and words, just quick words like look, stop, eyes, ears, things like that will get students' attention. Less words can sometimes be more effective than a lot of words. So let's talk about professional sharing and what information you can share with. So if you're talking to a colleague about a student, maybe about something about his or her family, please apply these 4 tests to see if you are violating the student's confidentiality rights. What are you talking about? Where are you talking about it? Who can hear you? And why are you talking about it in the first place? If you have an educational reason to why you're explaining to another colleague something about a child, you are not in violation. But if that teacher doesn't have that student for any reason, there's probably not an educational reason for you to have that discussion. If you're talking to somebody who does have an educational reason, but you're talking out in the hall and you don't have any control over the people that are going to walk up to you, then you may be in violation. Just remember those 4. What is being talked about? Where are you talking about it? Who can hear you? And why are you talking about it? Report all student complaints of bullying to the campus principal, please. And unfortunately, we do have to talk about child abuse because we do have statistics that are staggering. You will have a video that we require you to watch. That video is on mandatory reporting as a Texas educator. Here is also the other list of videos that you have to watch. There's one that I don't have on here called Raptor. Raptor is our emergency system that we use. It's an app that you will have to download. You'll also get that video. So Miss Bryan will, as soon as you have completed your training and you have met with Nora or myself to get your packet and to get any of your questions answered, you will go on the substitute teacher list. And once you're on that list, Miss Bryan will assign you all of these videos. You will receive an email. So it will come from the email that you put in your application. So be sure that you know what that email is. And you will have to start going through these videos. They're pretty long. It's about 10.5 hours worth of video trainings, but we will pay you. We don't pay you until you have completed all of them. You have filled the form out that's in your substitute teacher packet that you'll get from Nora or myself. And then once I've gone in there and checked to make sure all of those video trainings are complete, then we will put it into payroll for you. So you want to get through those as quickly as possible, but we do give you 6 weeks to complete them. When the deadline is over, if you do not have them completed, we take you off the substitute teacher list until they're completed. So here is all that information I gave you as well. And our elementary has an outdoor dismissal procedure that's a little new. They started that last year. So if you're working at the elementary campus and you need some help with dismissal, ask the teacher next to you if you can take your class into their room the first time you substitute so they can see what you're doing, so you can see what they're doing. It's very easy to learn, but it's kind of hard to go over and explain in the training. If you're interested in Air Med Care, that is LifeStar. Please see Laura about that. There's information on the screen for that cost. And Apollo as well. If you want that, you can get a good rate as an employee of the school district. It says August 31st, but if you come on later, we can get that for you as well. So here's just a quick rundown of what to do when you get here. Be here early, clock in when you get to school, check in with the office secretary, check with the office for sub-plans, introduce yourself to the students, locate and review the classroom rules, greet students at the door, get students on task as soon as possible, follow the lesson plans to the best of your ability, take attendance, leave a report for the teacher, leave the room clean and the teacher's desk organized, and check out when leaving and clock out. So you will also sign that receipt that you received, the substitute handbook receipt, and return that, but you'll get that when you meet with either Nora or myself. And then you also sign in and return the time clock policy. And that you'll get that when you meet with Nora or myself. If you're interested in doing gate duty, you can notify Miss Mary Barron at the business office, and I believe it pays $12 an hour, so that's an extra way to make some money. And if you ever want to go off the sub list, you need to let Nora or myself know by letter or email, please. We need that in writing. If you want to go off the list for just a period of time and then you want to come back on the list, let us know. We'll get you back on. You only have to go through training once a year. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. Here's my contact information. Feel free to use my cell phone. I am out and about quite a bit this semester. And so I need for you to use my cell phone, probably more than my extension. That 659-1816 is my office number. I may not get to that call as soon, but email anytime. All right, if you're new to time clock, I want to go over that with you very quickly. So when you come to a time clock computer, it's going to look like this, and you're going to put in an ID number. So you need to get that ID number from Laura Camacho. She will give that to you. And you will just put in that ID number and put clock in right there. And you're going to have a list of all the jobs that you're willing to work. So whatever it is that you're doing that day, I'm going to be a teacher sub. I'm going to click that. Then I'm going to work for Smith today. So I'm going to put that in the search box. And our Smiths are going to pop up. I'm working for Dixie today, so I'm going to continue right there. And I am clocked in. Now, let's say it's lunchtime, and I want to go out and take a little break. So I'm going to leave on break and continue. And then when I come back, I'm going to return from break and continue. I'm going to say I'm still a teacher sub. Still working for Smith, Dixie, and continue, and I'm clocked in. At the end of the day, I'm through, I'm going home, I'm clocking out. That's how you do time clock. Now, I don't want to forget, if you are staying on campus and you are willing to work if needed, you do not have to clock out during your lunch break. That is one small perk that we do give our substitutes. Now, that if you stay clocked in, that means that you're willing to work. Most of the time, we don't ask you to work, but there are times when you do get called to work, but that does not happen very often. So that is how time clock works. Try to get that to, there we go. Get out of that, get back into my PowerPoint. And I think we are completed. I just lost my PowerPoint, but I think we're good. Just remember, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, Christy Ramon. Please reach out to Nora Signs. Either one of us can help you with anything. We will need for you to call and schedule an appointment, set up a time with me, meet with either myself or Nora so we can go over that packet with you and get those forms signed and answer any questions you have. Thank you very much. Bye.